Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. This isn't the second time we've done this introduction.
It's the third.
David, I put the Drive in Drive Club. Scammell, how are you?
How are you doing?
There
that made more sense that time.
It definitely did, didn't
well
it?
done.
Thank you very much.
Your script paid off.
He's the prick from Drive Club.
Would have been better.
Should we try it for another time?
No, it's all right. He puts the isolation in Alien Isolation. Stephen Burns.
Yeah.
He's looking at his phone.
I'm looking at my phone.
What's this?
I'm looking at all the terrible shit I've been up to.
And
like what?
Tom Ori, I don't really know what you've been
say.
playing this week, so I haven't got one for you.
You don't know?
You've been playing.
You asked me earlier.
You've been playing a game that we can't talk about.
Yeah, we can.
Can we?
Yeah.
Bayonetta 2?
Oh, no, you said it, Brad.
Oh, practice. Mugged off.
Oh, no.
Classic.
Edge 10.
Yeah?
No one else has reviewed it.
Nah, not allowed, innit? Not yet, anyway.
Well, there we are.
So the fact that it exists and we're playing it is fine.
Is that all right? I'm never quite sure with
Don't
these.
panic.
They're weird, these rules, aren't they?
Yeah.
We could have written about 5 previews by now if we wanted to.
Yeah,
Probably.
also, it said that the online embargo is different to the, obviously, magazine embargo, but no radio embargo. So maybe, it doesn't say that. We could just give away our score right now.
Would you give it a 10?
Do you like Bayonetta 2?
I don't know. Haven't played enough yet.
Safe answer.
Classic
from Tom.
up there on the fence. Don't topple
Very
off.
safe. All right, well, a game that we can talk about and probably should, because it's quite an important one this week, is
Pix the
Alien
Cat.
Isolation.
Oh, no, not Pix the Cat.
Sorry. That game does look kind of cool, though. Alien Isolation, Stephen Burns.
We talked about this last week.
Only very briefly. This is the...
Did I do that?
The review went live after that.
The week
You do that.
before.
You strut around. You storm in rooms you shouldn't storm into.
Forgot.
And who else has played it? You played a little bit, Dave?
Played a little bit. I've played the first
we did a
hour, and
video.
then I've played whatever I played with you.
In hindsight, I think that was probably a bad way of showing Alien Isolation to you. Because we went in and we didn't really understand what the hell was going on. And it just kind of highlighted that the save system in that game is a bit frustrating when that is the case.
Well, I spoke to Burns about this the next day, and he said that was the worst part of the game.
Yeah.
Or one of the worst.
The first alien
But the
encounter.
first encounter with
It's really
aliens
bad.
should be
Surely
the
that
best
should be-
part of the game,
exactly.
right?
Like, how can you mess that up? I don't understand.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah,
bit when
so
you
review.
crawl under the table and it kind of slivers out of the vent. But
You can barely see it,
the first time we did
If you
that,
actually hide, you can't see any of that
I
stuff.
think it's one of those. The encounter is before that. The actual very first encounter with it, the kind of non-interactive one, is where it falls on top of the table and then scuttles off, and that's the game saying to you, you can actually be close to it, and as long as you don't move or whatever. However, they don't actually really get that across because it's essentially a cinematic. You think, well, I have no control. It doesn't teach you how to interact with it beforehand, and so.
because you could actually be like, you could be under the table and then leaning out to the side.
You can look,
and
I
you'd
looked
be
right
quite
at
safe,
it
right?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Hello. And also, I think that it's not linear enough when you first meet it. You should be able to just get away into another corridor and see how it stalks around. There's too many rooms to go into and too many opportunities for you to be killed. And you don't really know how it operates, nor really how the save system does when it's near you, because when enemies are nearby, it says hostiles nearby, which was a point of contention in one of the reviews from the Americans. But it's like the game tells you that. Like, come on.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with it, there isn't a kind of a normal autosave.
Well, there
function
is.
going on. There is for
Not
the
all
missions
the
themselves,
time,
right?
Yeah, for missions, not for you crossing.
But within that,
barrier.
you need to manually save at these kind of these checkpoints that you'll find around the place, and
Like punch card
that doesn't
stuff.
pause the game when you
No.
do it. So you could possibly die whilst trying to save the game, which would be.
And then in the first encounter, you have to go and log into like a really clunky old, as they all are, analog kind of workstation. Get a door code, then go and punch the code into the door while the alien's stalking.
Oh god,
you.
we that's where we had our most trouble. I think I cut that all out of the video really, but Dave
Yeah,
and I
think it's
were just
1702.
scrolling through loads of journal entries.
Yeah. I did it a lot. But you have to do it because you have to go into that room and get the code before the quarantine trigger goes and the alien arrives. So you know the code. You could go to the door, but it's like, oh, you need the code. And that is really, really poor and not at all, I think, representative of what happens in the rest of the game. So I can see, I mean, I said in the preview as well, it's like, it's such a, they kick the preview code off there because you get most of the mechanics. But yeah, Dave, I'm not surprised.
I think I've seen the worst that Alien Isolation has to offer so far, because the opening is mostly story and dialogue stuff.
Which is bad.
And then I've seen that bit as well, which you're saying is bad. So hopefully, I've got that out of the way.
We actually did the mission directly after that on a live stream last night, and I was a bit worried about isolation up until that point. It definitely pulled it back. It did help that Burns knew what the hell he was doing and kind of understood most of the mechanics, which, we tried our best, but yeah, it was.
But we're
good.
shit, so.
Yeah.
Oh, it took me a long while. Like, I had to play 5 hours. I was terrible at the preview code. Well, I was on hard, but it took me 5 hours to complete that, and then. So when I got and this is another thing about Alien, you can, I think, it is very long. So if you want to just play it, put it on easy mode, because the alien still kills you as soon as it sees you or you fuck up. It's just it doesn't spend most of its time hunting you. So normal, you don't have to play on hard, even though it says this is the suggested. Because yesterday on the live stream, even on normal, there was a while, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, where we were just looking out of a locker.
That was good. Good live stream.
So,
would a sequel ever work, or is this one of those games where you only want to do it once?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
think you don't even really want to do it once. But what I really wanted is, because CA developers had such a good grasp of what made Alien work, is for a post-credit sequence for you to land,
This isn't a spoiler.
This isn't a spoiler. It doesn't happen, but in my fevered dreams, I want it to happen. Just as a bit of
you have me worried there, Burns.
Just a bit of a fuck you to Gearbox, essentially. It's just for the screen to go black and there to be some marine chatter, and then those famous doors from LV-426 to open, and you to just go in, the door shut behind you, and have a few aliens rushing you, and just have because they do the environmental stuff so well. Just have that as a little taster of
we could have done that, bro. We could have done it.
Yeah, I was like, because they did it. They got the Ron Cobb's set designs and the kind of all of the other influences that Alien had, Scott's storyboarding and set and all that. They did it really, really well, and that's the environmental storytelling of the game is kind of Valve style. A bit like Left 4 Dead. Everyone's like, Left 4 Dead's got no story. It's like, shut the fuck up. Just because it's not got...
Hasn't got any story.
You tell the story, Dave.
You are the story.
Exactly. You be the weapon. As you can tell, I really, really liked it. But I can also see why other people very much didn't like it. And for people like Tom, who've got children, you can't play Alien. It's too long. There'll be 8 by the time you finish it. You know, it's just...
I play long games.
Yeah, like what?
I'm playing Diablo 3.
Well, I hope we've got another update coming today.
Forever. I haven't played it for ages, but no, there's spoilers for
God
later.
damn it.
So yeah, Alien Isolation. Yeah.
Mixed reviews. I was surprised at some of the low... Well... Because all of the pre-release stuff was indicating that it was going to be great. What you'd seen of it was great.
Oh, we spent loads of time in this room just saying that we hope it's going to be great, and everything we played so far was.
And you played it as well, Bratters, and I saw it briefly at E3. I thought it was great.
Yep, it was
and then when those sort of lower scores started coming out, I was like, really? Is there something that we don't know? Is there?
I was a bit
been hiding
surprised
stuff
about the. And I think what a lot of people had, and I know that Andy Kelly at PC Gamer also loved it, maybe even a little bit more than I did. He was saying that, he thought that some people just didn't get it. And usually that accusation doesn't really fly, because that's just the kind of way of saying, well, you're doing it wrong. But I think in a lot of
Dark Souls.
Alien Isolation, some people won't kind of get it. Like in those reviews, some of the American reviews, there was a whole thing about saving.
Was that the major complaint then?
One of them was, but people were saying it's too long, and I was worried. I thought it should be 4 hours long to begin with, but I think that they being the developers, it should have, they paced it really well. Like halfway through the game, you get the flamethrower, and everything almost completely changes. You don't have unlimited ammo. You have to conserve the ammo, but your relationship with the alien changes. Instead of creeping or Facebook status update in a relationship,
it's complicated.
But instead of having to creep around and if it sees you, it kills you. When it sees you and you've got the flamethrower out, it won't come at you for a little. It'll try and find another way around, and you can drive it back into the vents or off. Watch it.
It doesn't like running at you head on, right? Towards where the flames come from.
It'll try and go, around you. And then when you kind of get your Molotovs and stuff upgraded, so you can leave them as trip mines behind you, and you can set off, smoke bombs, etc. So I think it was well paced. I don't think there is a bit midway through the game which is pretty much fan service, but it's fucking shit. I was really disappointed in it. But they are making attempts, so you're not just in a locker for 20 hours. You do go other places, you do other stuff. There's a point in the game where the alien is very obviously gone, and hours pass before it comes back.
Really?
It's gone on holiday, essentially. It's on package holiday somewhere else, and the game just kind of like dials everything back, and then it's more about other threats on the station. So it's not you just sitting under a table for 20 hours. But again, I can see why people didn't get on with that.
Fair enough.
Even with all those attempted or successful. I would
So
say
you played it for
PlayStation.
like 20 hours was your...
On hard,
playthrough,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it was 20 hours. But I mean, the one major problem is the game has Return of the King syndrome, where it just has literally about 5 separate endings or separate parts of the game that seem like endings. And you're like, okay, so something's exploded. All right, I get it, yeah. Oh, well, here come the... Oh, wait a minute. It's like, no. And you have to do a lot of generator, like, turning on and switching. And there was only one moment in the game where I was like this, close to screaming, which was when you see a generator in a room and it's on. It's the only one in the entire game that's on. You're like, what's going on here? You're like, okay. So you go to it and it says, no, generator's already on. And you have to sneak all the way round to another door. And there's only one way to do it. So if the alien was on either side, you're fucked. It's not like you can go around it. You get to the door. You open the door, generator turns off in the other room. And I was like, so fucking... Especially on hard. I was like, all right, fine. And especially on hard mode, you have to kind of game it a little bit because it's so aggressive. But that was really one of the only moments that really...
Did it do
annoyed me.
like, what sort of Dead Space 2? I think it was 2. Possibly the original.
Certainly
I
not
can't remember. Yeah. At the end of that game... It was just like corridors and corridors where you had to just run through like legions of enemies essentially, and it got really frustrating. And obviously I know you don't get loads of aliens in this one, but did it feel like it was deliberately putting you in an enclosed space and artificially inflating the challenge?
That section, definitely, the one I'm just talking about, where
Yeah.
because the doors that you would use to get around it are all blockaded off.
Just because it's the end of the game.
There's a narrative justification for it in that this was the last stand of a lot of the survivors. They're in a rec room, and so rec room has food and all that. So it makes sense that and only one way in once they blocked everything off, and it's at the arse end of the ship. So it makes sense in that regard. But yeah, I mean, there are some issues with the endings like that, and it does feel like a little bit enforced. And there's a bit where you... well, I don't want to say too much, but there's a bit where the game deliberately slows the pace down. I mean, your walking pace, and you're like, I just want to go and turn this fucking thing on now, and you can't sprint, shall we say? You're like, I'm going to kill a man.
I'm going to
But
crouch walk.
I thought these were all minor, in
the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I thought
little issues
because it's really fucking hard to make an Alien game. Like, do you know how many people have attempted that, and how many millions of dollars have fucking gone into that? And all anyone has ever managed to do is a game where you
I'm
run
not sure
around.
many people actually tried to make Cloning Marines, did they?
Oh,
Meow.
shots fired, all the shots. I really liked it.
Can the
So
alien use a gun?
the alien, you do talk to the monsters halfway through, and actually the second
That's
half,
not true.
The pacing of it is you hunt the rest of the survivors.
With your alien buddy.
Yeah,
You ride the alien
The
around.
predator turns up and he's
Oh,
like,
man.
"Oi, oi, lads,
That's
what's
the-
going on here then?" Yeah, like, oh fuck's sake, this guy.
Next one will be co-op. There'll be 2 aliens. That's what it'll be.
What if a facehugger impregnated a Danny Dyer?
Oh my life, that would
So
be
it's a Danny
amazing.
Dyer alien.
Danny Dyer alien. Fucking yes, Time Slag's got its new ending.
Shit, actually, you should mention in the last podcast we were talking about that outlaw commentary for with Danny Dyer and the director.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out that the person that made that was someone that you know.
I tweeted this saying this is evidence if any more was needed that you can never know anyone really. So I was talking about this outlaw commentary, and this is probably maybe the 14th or 15,000th time I've ever spoken about
Oh, you've
it.
brought it up loads of times in the office.
To anyone that will listen because it's so like I remember being at like a fucking Christmas party somewhere and going, "Have you guys heard this outlaw?" like I'm getting royalties off the back of it. And so yeah, I used to live in Bournemouth when I was working there. I had like 3 flatmates, and get a text message from one of them, Tom, just saying I knew him like pretty well. Just saying, "Oh, by the way, I made that outlaw video." And I was like, "Tom, we lived together for years, and I must have talked to you about this. Why didn't you tell me you made it? Were you just sitting there going, 'Oh, it sounds really good,' just for a laugh or something?"
Did you start conversations with him? Have you seen this outlaw
Well,
commentary?
it was his. I borrowed his fucking DVD of the film to watch it. Anyway, And he said, well, why would I tell you? And I was like, oh, my life.
Excellent.
This is people. You can't trust them.
You can't know anyone.
They would keep that from you. That's like Darth Vader level of secrecy right there. What did he think I was going to do with that information? Not mention it again? He probably made loads of money off that YouTube vid. Cunt.
On the subject of mixed reviews,
Yep, nice, good.
Nice.
can we segue into
Drive Club.
Why not?
Drive Club?
You can segue into whatever you like.
See,
Are you wrong, Dave?
are you saying I am wrong?
Are you wrong?
I don't think I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong.
Why are you getting so
Go.
defensive about
Sorry.
this?
I'm not being defensive.
Oh, well, that tone of voice
I'm just
suggests you're
saying, just like Steve said about Alien, I can see why some people would score it low because it depends how you would go into it. And you know, because if you go into it purely for the tour stuff and the campaign stuff, you're not going to like it. I don't think it does feel a bit dry. But it's only when you start exploring the online stuff that it really comes into its own. Like I said in the review, but it's weird because there are some reviews out there that are like, "Well, I played it when the servers were off." It's like, but that's like reviewing
doing it
Battlefield when the servers are off there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Do
It's
you think
just
the people that think it's dry aren't getting challenges from people with funny avatars? Because their faces pop up on the track, don't they?
yeah,
So if they all were like wacky, like Bratters style avatars, you'd be like, oh, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like the actual rivalries with other people seems to be a massive part of it.
That is massive.
What
And-
was the guy XBL Porth? Was that the guy? we were
Yeah,
trying
that
to
guy.
beat? Fuck that guy.
But that's the thing, though. Like, it doesn't need to be your friends. Like, Autolog was all about competing with your friends, whereas this is about. I mean, you will have more fun with rivalries with friends,
Sure.
but it also lets you establish rivalries with complete strangers, and then be like, "I'm going to take you down," and that's where the fun comes in. Like what we said in the video, like there was one night I stayed up forever trying to beat Games Radar. Like, I don't know who it was at Games Radar. Just like I have to do this.
You did manage it, right?
It's VideoGamer against Games Radar. No, I didn't actually.
You didn't?
Jesus,
What was...
fucking Christ!
What the
Why are you here?
Fuck my life.
But that's what I mean. Really, yeah. People keep asking me, what's better, Forza Horizon 2 or Drive Club?
I've asked you that myself in that voice.
And I don't think I have an answer because they're totally different games.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a tweet out about this earlier. It'd be like comparing Garden Warfare to Counter-Strike. Like they're totally different tones and types of like the same. They're still racers, obviously, but they approach it in totally different ways. And I don't think one has advantages over the other, and one has disadvantages over the other.
Surely the point of reference is, for a lot of people, Gran Turismo.
What do you mean?
Not in that they're similar, but you're like, okay, so Drive Club is a first party, or exclusive driving game. It doesn't have the distinct Forza Horizon overtones. It's not a Burnout style arcade racer. It looks a bit grey in screenshots. What's the closest thing you would put it next to? From a PlayStation perspective, if you're a fan of racing games on PlayStation, you'd probably say, okay, so what are we saying about Gran Turismo then? And I think that Gran Turismo is a really good indicator because obviously that's at the far end of fucking boredom. And so,
No, that's upset someone.
Fuck them all.
Someone
I
out
don't
there.
give a shit. I hate it. And them.
Right, good. Glad we got that established.
There you go, Dave. Talk about Gran Turismo now.
But this is what. But this is similar to what me and Bratters were saying in one of the videos that we recorded. Is that Forza Horizon feels totally different to Forza Motorsport, whereas Drive Club is not the Horizon 2 Gran Turismo. They still have their parallels in a way. The handling is a little bit more arcadey, essentially. I mean, it's not totally arcadey like Need for Speed or anything like that. Especially how it was last year at E3. I went back and watched some videos of E3 2013 Drive Club. Jesus, the handling on that was ridiculous. It was stupid. So they have come a long way in a year. But we were saying this on one of those videos, was that it's going to be weird how Sony now schedule Gran Turismo and Drive Club. Whether there will ever be another Drive Club, I don't know. I don't know how the reviews may affect the sales or whatever. But they've got two... They've got one super serious racer and one sort of semi-serious racer now head-to-head with itself, essentially. So I guess they'll get around that by, alternating.
Drive Club Cities, they go.
Well, you really want this, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it is quite PGR-y in a way.
The courses in this are so... I like the game a lot, but they're so kind of like just... They don't do anything.
The point-to-point ones are really good.
Whereas if it was city-based stuff... I'd like them a lot more. I don't know. I just like racing around cities more because of PGR.
Yeah, they do feel quite rally courses.
Yeah,
definitely.
It feels like you've said before that it could have started off as a rally game in some parts because the courses are literally stuff you could have seen in like any rally game over the last 10 years. But
Yeah.
it looks very nice. The courses, everything looks incredible at points.
It can look a little off at times.
Well, the lighting, it just looks flat, doesn't it, somehow, and dull. And then you go over a hill and then it's look amazing.
It's weird because first impressions of Drive Club are really bad. Like, do you remember when we first got it in? The servers weren't on, so we were playing it all offline. And me and Brett did about the first 2 or 3 races of the tour, which is you in a Mini Cooper and like other hatchbacks and stuff.
Brett was in tears from what I remember.
Yeah, and the lighting in those tracks for some reason just is nowhere near as good as the stuff in the later tracks. I don't know why. It's just that they have these very early morning races that don't look as good. And we came back in after about half an hour saying, "Oh, like what's happened here?" But yeah, once you give it a chance, once you start getting into the tour a little bit more and start heading online, it sort of comes into its own a little bit. So, but I think a lot of people will go into it, and I think some of the reviewers maybe have. They've gone into the tour and gone, well, it's a bit basic, isn't it? Like, there's not much to it, and that's their opinion essentially. So.
Dave, talk to me about the PlayStation Plus version. What's going on with that? I see some complaints flying around.
It's all a bit screwed, isn't it? Apparently the server...
We're talking about first impressions as well. That will be the first impressions for loads of people.
Yeah. I mean, Sony's servers aren't particularly good at the best of times. And I imagine... me and Tom were discussing this earlier. The thing about Drive Club is it's constantly sending you notifications and updates, and it's always updating...
Across every device you have. Like, they pop up all over the place.
Yeah.
It's got its own app as well, so...
So I wonder if, like, that flood of information has all of a sudden, like, completely ground everything to a halt. But yeah, they've said they've delayed the PS Plus edition. I don't know how long for. I don't know whether it will affect UK people, because it's not out over here till Friday. They've temporarily halted, I think, were the words they've used for that, the release of the PS Plus edition, presumably because millions of people are going to bloody jump on that as soon as it comes out and completely close everything down.
So when that does theoretically work, what's the PlayStation Plus version offering? Like, obviously it's a limited version of the game.
Did you say the PlayStation Plus?
Yes, I did.
PlayStation Plus, sure. So it's essentially a fifth of the game. You get one location, I think it's India, 11 tracks, but access to all the game modes. I think there's only like 4 events though from the tour. And if they're the early ones, well, that's not the best way to show that game off. And India as well isn't the most exciting.
You want Norway, man. Norway's lovely.
I don't think much of the tracks there.
Yeah.
They are going to add... You are going to get the DLC, though, aren't you? Quite a lot of it.
Yeah, do you get...
You get the new environment, don't you?
I looked this up. I don't think you do. I think you only get the new tracks they're releasing for India.
Right. Well...
So you are getting some free DLC, and you get all the weather update and stuff and all that. But that should have been at launch.
The weather update.
They've had long enough.
Weather update.
This is a game that should have been out a year ago. And as good as it is, it's still got stuff that's coming out.
There's no replays. It's weird.
Photo mode, big major stuff like this that apparently is due out by the end of the year.
You can't replay the races after.
No, you can't see a replay. You mean you can't have a replay, like a visual replay? You can restart.
Like Gran Turismo's replays.
Yeah, that's what
you're on.
I thought that was just a kind of a standard across all racing games.
I thought
that's
I was missing something somewhere, but no, it's not there. And obviously they've advertised it quite a lot in like PR press-wise with all these images of the rain.
You are going to be blown away by this weather.
Like,
it is.
And
no, the weather's not here yet.
That is not here yet at all at the moment. Like
the clouds are on their way. They're coming over. They're over France or something at the moment. They'll be here soon.
We need to get you to be like a weatherman in the studio.
Oh God, yeah.
Should we have this on the podcast?
Push in the Drive Club weather now. That's coming out next week. It's going to come across
heavy
Europe.
showers.
There you go. All right, cut that, and we'll actually do it.
Yeah. All
right. Yeah. There's stuff like that I don't know if it would have impacted my overall opinion of the game in terms of the score. Would the score have gone up had that been there? I'm not sure it would have done, but it does make it feel like it's a little bit unfinished still, which is odd considering how long they've had.
I think they could do some work on how you get around the game as well, in terms of like you go from one thing to the next, just making it a bit quicker.
What, you mean the menus?
Yeah, they do seem a little bit...
The menus are clever, but they're super convoluted. Like, you can always... I mean, it's quite telling that they've put a blooming... You push the... That's me. I'm buzzing.
Bloody hell, David. Right.
That you have to push the touchpad, and that takes you all the way back to the home screen, essentially. It's like the fact they've had to put that in there shows that maybe they didn't have that much confidence that in their menu system it gets quite confusing as you start going deeper into it. But that said, I mean, it is quite easy to sort of, you click something and you're like, yeah, view his profile and all that. It works. It's just initially...
There's a lot of information to try and...
It's very overbearing.
Right.
You
kind of wish there were more types of challenge as well.
Yeah.
Because you've got the drift stuff, and then you've got times. That's it, really, isn't it? In
Drift,
terms of...
You got like standard races as well.
But the races are still timed.
Yeah.
Still,
Actually, yeah, that was weird. I remember when we were doing the...
I don't understand why you'd ever do a race.
Because you like...
challenge.
You're going to get blocked by the cars that you're racing against. And I think you came first in that race, but...
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. You still weren't high enough in the challenges.
It's still
sorry to bring this up again, Dave. But
no, that's fine. So don't worry about it.
It was weird. Like, why even have those other cars there? Or is it just so like part of the challenge is that you need to get past them?
It's weird because it is a game. It is a game about skill, and obviously that challenge system is I can do it in this speed, in this time. How fast can you do it? But then when you've got essentially random elements thrown into that structure, it kind of it seems a bit pointless. Like you'd stick to time trials, really. So
and you can do that, I guess.
You can do that, yeah.
Even little bits like I was playing for ages. I've been playing only on the Vita because I haven't got a TV set up at the moment because I've just moved. But I was doing a drift challenge, and you get to the end of it, and then most of the time I wasn't getting the score I wanted, so I restart it, and you have to go back through a couple of menus, and then you click restart. But
you don't have to.
Well, but there's no way of like instantly restarting, is there?
A challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah?
How? Doesn't it go...
When? Once you finish the event?
Yeah, but like, I would like, can you press a button mid-game and just restart straight away?
Yeah, it's the start button, Tom, and then restart.
Yeah, no, I think Tom's been playing a lot of Trials recently, right? And that game you can press a button.
like Trials, you can go...
would put you straight
what, like you press the back button and you're back at the beginning?
It feels a bit to me like Mario Kart 64 syndrome, where I got so used to pressing a certain number of buttons to get back to restart, whereas...
No, well, you have to pause it.
You press start,
push right, restart,
and then restart. But there's a button. I'm sure I could have pressed a button on the pad and just instantly restarted.
Maybe
it would just improve for me because it's about challenges and replaying.
I can just see you trying to beat one of Dave's scores or maybe jamming actually.
Yeah, because Trials does it perfectly. Like you know when you've messed up and you want to restart straight away. And I think it would just make that challenge experience slightly better.
The restarts are instant though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's slow, but you still have to go into a menu to activate
it.
Whereas I assume there's a button on that pad that like I could map something to it.
Possibly, yeah. But that is another thing that people keep saying, oh, it's just Autolog. Like, Autolog's been doing it for years. And it is just Autolog. But the way they've integrated is so good. Like in Autolog, in Hot Pursuit, say, when you restarted a challenge, it was another like 30-second load time. And in this, it's instant. Once you've pushed your bloody start button, Tom.
I always find that bizarre in video games. I know obviously video games are focused on tech milestones, essentially, and the bigger and better. But when people say it's just Autolog, it's just like, okay, I get, yeah. But I'm glad it's here. It's like no one watched, Goodfellas on that amazing kind of like Steadicam tracking shot through all the thing and went, nah, Kubrick did that before, did that 10 years earlier. It's just that. They just went, actually, it's really fucking good. So like video games people, it's just Autolog. It's like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great.
But you say that, but I do get the complaints where people go, well, it's not really evolved the genre anywhere. Like, because they have been talking it up a little bit, saying like they haven't used these words, but they've implied maybe it's like the future of online racing and stuff
Dave's
like that.
Dave's been doing that on their behalf.
Well, no,
future of online racing.
I don't think I've ever said that, but that's what they'd have you believe.
Preview the future, definitely.
But like in all of their like advertising, like even back a year ago and stuff, it's all about all these face-offs and things and how all the online integration and stuff. It's pushing it.
But that's just marketing, isn't it? I watch.
Totally.
I watch adverts for cereals that make them seem like the fucking greatest thing in the world, and I realise it's just Weebix.
Yeah,
Weebix been doing that for years, mate. What are you doing? Come on, get a grip.
If you go in expecting some massive shake-up in the way you play an online racer, you're not going to find it.
I was really against Drive Club. Do you know why? Because it looked boring as fuck.
And
I will say, from everything that I've heard about it, I've not played it yet. Everything I've heard about it, I actually admire the developer taking pretty much everything on board. And most developers would just go, actually, get it out of the door because it's costing us a fortune.
Yeah.
The fact they seem to, from everything from the handling to the integration of it all, just gone, okay, well, let's see if we can make the best game that we can rather than just fucking it off out the door.
I think Dave brought this up yesterday. You know what? It probably would have maybe had an easier time with that original release date, because
You know what?
it is super busy right now, and
It may have come out a year ago, PlayStation 4 launch. It might have got 3s and 4s out of 10s because E3 was terrible. It was bad.
It's a
but it
driving
would have
game
been a
straight
driving
away.
game at
Yeah.
launch. It feels like it's had such a troubled time as well. Like there's been all that shit with the director leaving, new director coming in, all the controversy of the PlayStation Plus stuff. I mean, I do wonder if they're thinking now, maybe we should never have announced the PlayStation Plus edition because fuck me, Jesus Christ. You know, but
our servers are actually on fire. Jesus.
and even that was weird. Like the way they made it out originally. Oh, if you're a PlayStation Plus user, you can get the Plus edition for free. They didn't say it'd be content restricted originally, as far as I can remember. And from what I can remember them talking about, it sounded like it was going to be a free-to-play version where you had the base game, and then you could purchase the extra cars and tracks on top
I'm not
individually.
gonna lie, Dave. Up until right then, that's exactly what I thought it was.
But it's not that.
And I read the review which said it wasn't yesterday. There you go.
But
I'm so confused about Drive Club right now.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's been so. I think that sums up the whole development. Confused. Like I get the feeling the direction has gone in so many different ways over the past few years. I wonder because the way they originally announced it was like. It was a sim racer, essentially. This is what it feels like to drive these cars and be in these cars. And it was all about the first-person cockpit view and all that.
Oh
and
shit! I actually, you know what? I have played Drive Club. See, I forgot all about it because it was a bit boring at the time. There was some last year, just before the launch of the PlayStation. There was like a PlayStation event, and fucking Knack was there and all that shit. And I played Drive Club. And I was like, oh my days, what is this? You were there, Dave?
Was I?
Yeah, we went there. Had the PlayStation 4 and like a glass. It's like in some,
Oh, yeah, I do remember
some
that, yeah.
cathedral or some
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that. Oh, Drive Club. I
like
just don't know anything about it.
But Sony must be wondering now. They must be looking at their first-party slate that not their slate, but their...
It's not a slate, Dave.
you know what I mean?
It's one name.
Their PS4 games that have come out, first-party ones, I mean, Metacritic, have any of them hit 80?
I don't know what's Infamous on.
Infamous
is
might
probably,
be 80.
Yeah,
Might
the only
be.
one though, isn't it? Like,
But still,
Killzone.
like...
Nah,
The best thing to
nah.
come out of Sony's exclusive first party stuff is Hip Hop Gamer's review of Knack, where it seems like he's being held against his will and being forced to say that Knack is the greatest game. He's sweating. He's like looking darting eyes off the camera, terrified. It doesn't really. None of it makes a lot of sense. It looks like he's doing some hand movements that are saying, "Please get me out of here." Oh, it's better than Knack. It should come bundled with Knack.
You have to watch that first.
Exactly. Yeah. Would you like to go on? Probably not.
When Microsoft says it's all about the games, I mean, they've had a lot of shit the last couple of years. But, I mean, good for them. I mean, they do seem to have overall the better lineup still. So, yeah.
That's it.
Who knows?
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what's better between that and Forza.
Which one is better? That or Forza?
Don't ask me.
All right.
I don't know.
I've only spent a little bit of time with Alien Isolation.
Don't come to me then. Go straight to you.
I was just gonna do it very quickly so we could go on to your update.
No
So
one
rude,
cares,
Tom
Brad.
Murray.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing Nuclear Throne and having loads and loads of fun with it. That's
Is that the Vlambeer game?
Yeah, it's Vlambeer's arcadey shooter, and it's one of those games that it's
Remind me what Vlambeer
ridiculous
is.
fishing, super crate bots,
Is this game
and
out?
Blue
Is
Forces.
it out, or have you
It's only early access, but it's been in early access for quite a long time now. I think we covered it last year, I think, or maybe at the start of this year. And they're actually one of the best examples of early access. I think the way they're
you love them, don't you, Braz?
they're one of my favourite developers, yeah. I think that's right. And yeah, having loads of fun with Nuclear Throne. It's one of those games that, like, when we first tried it out, I think it was Simon and I took a look at it. Simon wasn't quite as impressed as I was.
He never is.
You see an arcadey shooter, and you see, it's pretty challenging, and the different characters.
Arcadey shooter, what do you mean?
It looks like Zombies Ate My Neighbours.
It's not a shmup, is it?
No, it's very, very fast paced. It's got the kind of.
It looks like Zelda meets Fez.
That's not true at all.
Old Zelda.
It doesn't look like Zelda meets Fez at all.
It's an 8-bit look.
It looks like Zombies Ate My Neighbours, like exactly like that. It's got that running around 8-bit, kind of almost 8 directional,
big over the top bullets,
like Smash TV, Total Carnage sort of thing.
Gets a little bit bullet hellish at times.
It's 8-bit, not 16-bit.
Yes.
Zelda meets Metal Slug.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I'd take what.
Anyway,
Why not?
the game that we saw
Get out of the
originally,
box.
you see it's hard, it's challenging. The different characters, how they work, is interesting, and going through each one and seeing how their special ability kind of functions seems cool. But it's kind of got that spelunky thing to it that the way you see the game after you've played it, like you've retried it like 30 or 40 times, it becomes something completely different, and you get a real appreciation for how each of the mechanics work. It's quite a simple game, but once you have to really think about how each character functions. So like my favorite character is Chicken, because it's a chicken with a sword, and the fact that you can deflect bullets.
I bet you thought that was brilliant, didn't you?
What, the fact it's a chicken with a sword?
It's a chicken with a sword.
Aha! He's got a sword.
And her special ability is slow motion, so it's pretty good, yeah, to be honest. But the fact that you can deflect bullets with a melee weapon becomes really, really important to how you play that game. When you first play it, it's not even something you're considering. You're just like, I need to find a gun immediately and try and figure out how to dodge all these bullets, and it becomes something entirely different. It is one of those games that you retry loads. And actually, you were talking about the fact that in Drive Club, it takes the fact that you have to pause and then press restart is a little bit frustrating. I could totally see that, because in Nuclear Throne you can restart the game from scratch with the character you've picked really, really quickly. It's almost immediate, and that's quite important because you are retrying all the time. If you mess up the first level, or even in that first stage, you don't actually get the kind of setup that you're quite after, it might screw you over completely. It's a really, really tough game. So you're picking up like new weapons, and you have to think about almost like a build for your character. They mutate as they go along, and so depending on what mutations you're offered will change drastically how you end up playing the game.
Is this one of those roguelikes?
It's a roguelike, they call it. Yeah, when you die, you start all over again.
It's ridiculous.
Well, roguelike is a bit of a ridiculous term, yeah, I agree. But yeah, so it's really, really satisfying because of that, because it's so hard, because you know, if you make the smallest mistake, you have and some of it comes down to luck. If you have a bad stage generation, it can completely screw over like all your progress. But when you do make progress as a result, it feels better, which is a strange way of like thinking about games. But I think that's true. It's been brilliant. It's been the best game I've played over the last few weeks, and I keep going back to it. Mm-hmm. It's cool. Nuclear Throne. And you guys,
is it coming out to anything but PC?
What, sorry?
Is it going to consoles?
I don't know, actually. I think they're quite happy with it being on PC for the moment. It is in early access. I don't think they would think about putting it onto consoles until it's maybe out of early access. Yes, yeah, very easily. But they
sounds like a PlayStation, first on PlayStation game.
You could totally see that. And the way I said it's a good example of early access. Really regular updates. They actually stream some of the development on Twitch, so you can kind of get involved, chat to them as they're doing it, and get because it is quite a simple game with just a few kind of basic mechanics that are really well conceived. The smallest changes make loads of difference. Kind of like in Spelunky, if kind of your whip attack range changed or something, it would have a massive impact on how people try and play through that game really quickly. And so there's constant small little adjustments and balance changes all the time, which feels really important to that game. The fact that you know there's someone out there trying to tweak it all the time. And
does that not make it frustrating as well? Because you could get really good at it and someone changes something and you're like, oh, bollocks.
Yeah, but you also get an appreciation for the kind of meta game as well, I think. It's kind of like when you're playing Dota 2, right? So, which is another game I talk about all the time.
That time we played Dota 2, Dave.
You'll be playing as a character.
That was a great night, Tom.
And maybe
so
they'll feel
fun.
a bit overpowered. When they get nerfed, you'll be disappointed that your favourite character has been nerfed, but you'll also understand why, and you'll appreciate that it has a better impact on the game as a whole. It's a single-player game, but it feels... It feels like
I was going to insult you there, but I won't.
Loads of people.
Do you ever feel, Bratters, that you work in the wrong place?
Yeah, quite a lot actually.
You're saying all this stuff.
So do we.
Because I feel like
you're saying all this stuff and you're so positive.
And
we're like,
it's a fucking brilliant game.
Why are you not playing a console game, Bratters?
I know. I have been playing a bit of Alien Isolation. I just wanted to mention Nuclear Throne as well.
We do like PCs, but
they're pretty neat.
I just haven't got anywhere to use one.
Well,
you've even got a TV, Tom.
No.
Sorry about that.
That's ridiculous.
In fact, I've got a 50-inch TV in a box, waiting.
All right, show off.
Yeah,
go.
I paid £9 for it. £9.
Yeah, this is...
sounds
£9 for a 50-inch TV. That is ludicrous.
Yeah. That's... Jesus.
It's the biggest bargain I've ever had in my life.
Did you get this legitimately?
Yes, from Tesco.
Oh, yes, I do remember, yeah.
Just in
I think I spent more on Ricardo's pints.
Ricardo. Nice little throwback to our man Ricardo. Well, are you going to set up that TV in any time soon?
It needs a wall bracket fitting to the wall.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to cost you more than the TV itself.
Obviously, I am a modern man, and have no ability to do anything that involves power tools or anything like that.
I hear that.
So it needed like a certain drill bit, and I don't know what drill bits are. So,
Bits that go on the drill, Tom.
yeah, but it needs these
Come
other
on now,
it needed
Tom.
plugs and things. So I just
Yeah.
there's a man coming around to do it, because if I do it wrong,
Got a man
and it ends up
coming.
ripping the wall down, that won't be very good, will it?
Can
Be
you,
hilarious though, wouldn't it?
can you put this television on the wall, please? I'd like
Well,
to
he
play
doesn't have to do that.
video
He
games.
just has to put the bracket on the wall, and I will do the rest.
Yeah, and then you can blame him if it goes fucking sideways.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Chain of blame, Braz.
So what I'm taking from this is, Tom,
I
that
blame
you
Braz
haven't,
for this entire podcast.
Oh, mate.
you haven't been playing Diablo 3 then. We haven't got an update.
I haven't played in ages, which is annoying because I do like it, but I've only been playing stuff on remote play on the Vita.
Someone came up to me at EGX actually and said, "Can you tell Tom to exactly explain what the hell is going on with his character so I can tell him what to do," or something like that? Because I think it was when we were talking about that Paragon screen, was it?
Yeah.
We just had
That's
no
just
idea.
high level stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not even anywhere near that.
I think
yet.
there were people pulling their hair out with
Did
the way
you
we
tell
were
this
talking
guy
about
to
it.
fuck off? He said, "Get out of my face."
No, I said,
I'm trying to
"Thank-
work here. You say,
No, absolutely not.
I do love though that people have that. They need to say, "What the fuck is happening with Tom's character? Could you just please tell him?"
Because
Yeah.
it's killing me, man. He
exactly.
doesn't understand.
I'm playing it my own way. And I
Also,
like it.
I said your character was a Templar. It's a Crusader.
Is it?
Whoops.
I don't know.
Fucking
Such a noob error.
Exactly. I can now understand why people were getting mad. So,
Yeah, I haven't played that in a couple of weeks.
oh, well, maybe we'll come back to
I will
that.
go back to it. I've just been playing. I played Silent Hill.
Mhm.
From Silent Hill on the Vita.
Did you see the doghouse?
I can't remember
The famous doghouse from the best screenshot of all time.
No,
You know this one?
I do, but
Yeah.
I haven't. Don't think I saw it. It's hard game to play now.
It's-
It was hard to play then, Tom.
I think we accepted it more because it was like, oh look, polygons and stuff.
Yeah, but the demo of Silent Hill came with Metal Gear Solid.
It did.
And so you played that.
Yeah, that
and then,
freaky woman on the cover of it.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then you played that, and you were like, all right, that's a bit clunky. And then you played Metal Gear Solid, and you're like, oh dear, maybe they shouldn't have packaged these two games together.
It does have some really good camera angles. Like
Yeah, the
when
cafe
when
and
you're in
stuff.
like
And the school with the piano.
When you're in
ding.
enclosed spaces, they do some really good stuff with cameras, which, considering the age of the game, is quite impressive.
How are you finding spending time with the Vita as well with it?
I don't know. I like it as what it can do is good, but how you do it with it is not great.
I hate
Like,
that home fucking screen.
The actual buttons I don't like very much. That the way it feels in your hand isn't very nice. Like I feel like I'm cramped. Like nothing fits where it should go. Like it doesn't feel right. Particularly Drive Club, where you can change it, but it defaults to accelerate on the right bumper, brake on the left.
That sounds right.
The bumpers don't. They're not right for that kind of thing. But the buttons don't work for it either, really, because there's not enough slide between one and the other one. They're too firm and they clicky and they don't feel right. So like it works, but it could be a lot better.
Well, at least it's something. Whilst you're
So you're
waiting.
struggling with things being too firm
Yeah, Dave.
and sliding between things.
Jesus,
Yeah.
are you
With-
actually this person?
I remember when I had my 8th birthday. So, anyway, speaking of key mappings, I played The Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Oh yeah.
Again, we have to run around a lot. And I actually had to, on PC, and I had to remap sprint from left shift.
That sounds
That's
perfect.
standard.
Yeah, it is standard. But, in most games, when you sprint, you kind of only sprint a little bit. Whereas everything in Ethan Carter is so glacial, you just will want your finger. So I had to put it on F, essentially. So, like, my little finger was, like, in agony.
I understand
having
that.
to reach down from the WASD. And, but yeah, good game. Maybe a bit overrated. And incredibly frustrating in the early going. Because it doesn't tell you anything. Like, it even has a warning at the start saying, we ain't telling you shit. Yeah? It's just like, they let you go like you're a fucking prisoner and fucking battle
Is it like
royale.
that Dear Esther game?
That's
Yeah.
what I was worried about because it looks gorgeous, but I just generally don't click with that genre very well. The
Put it
walking
this
around
way,
looking at pretty
you do-
things.
This is why you sprint a lot. It's a magnificently realised world, and it is really good, but it's so user-unfriendly to begin with. Like, I had a phone call from someone yesterday saying, have you played this Ethan Carter game? I was like, yeah. Like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, have you done the traps at the start of the game? It's like, no, I just ran past them. But they're just away. It doesn't tell you anything, like anything. And all that, I don't think, well, I hope you don't, I said in the review, you don't have a quest log. You can't replay what characters have said. So at one point, one of the characters say, "Oh, you've got to go into the mine to move on with your mystery fucking tour." And they're like, "Oh, we don't have the key to the mine." One of the characters goes, "Don't worry, I'm going to use my secret way in here." Yeah, if you listen to that and then you've got to do something else, like get to the mine, when you're there, you're like, where did he say this was?
I can't deal with that. Games have taught me not to do that anymore. I expect a map with a quest marker on it.
I had to
and a dotted
draw
line.
my own map, which I've got to say, I was like,
cool.
this is pretty cool. But it annoyed the fuck out of me.
I think like Ocarina of Time was like that. Like you used to say stuff and
oh yeah, look, like
it was like what I'm actually, I forgot what someone told me a while ago. Where the hell am I going to be going?
Jim and I bring this up all the time, but Morrowind was all about that. Like it would give you descriptions of where to go, and if you played later Elder Scrolls games, you're just so used to bringing up the map and going, all right, there it is.
That happens to me with JRPGs. I went back to Lost Odyssey about 3 years after I played it last, and I was like, don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Don't know where I'm going.
Right.
Turned it off after 5 minutes.
Early
Oh,
GTA
man,
games
it's great.
had a paper map. So if you borrowed the game from your mate and you didn't have the map, well, you were fucked, weren't you? Pretty much, because everything looked exactly the same. The game was massive.
And now, later GTA games, you don't even look at the road anymore. You just look at your mini map in the corner and drive around on that.
No, man.
Like that,
Man.
games have made us.
But this
a
goes
little bit
too far
lazy
the
in
other
that
way.
respect.
I mean, it does go too far. And it is also pretty much an anti-walkthrough game. It's like it's designed to be really fucking irritating in that regard. Because after a while, I was like, I've got to fucking review this game. So I'm just going to use walkthrough just to get the next clue. And then, but obviously you can complete it out of order. So the next clue did nothing for me. And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill a man.
I can imagine, like, that will split people, won't it? I can imagine some people adoring that. Like the fact that you are
world
left
is
to your own
great.
devices and you're meant to just spend a lot of time figuring it out will be
So
what
what-
people want. People that are reviewing it and have to do it in a certain time frame. I wonder
But
if
it's not that. It's one of the main problems of the game I found. And you know, in old adventure games, you used to, if you got stuck, you'd like pixel sweep your mouse across it just for something to change the cursor. And then kind of newer ones of the time of like Resident Evil sort of adventure, like things would glint against the background because they were like polygons on ray trace, whatever. This game looks so fucking good, I can't tell what's part of the fucking environment and what is an
what
item.
a complaint! What a complaint!
At one point, I stumbled across the answer, and I was like,
These quest items look too realistic.
It's
they
true.
fit into the world.
Look, at one point, let me put it this way, Brad. At one point, you have to find a rock in a forest. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and there are rocks everywhere. And you're like, oh no, you've got to find this one. However, it's got a really cool like mystery sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, so what type of game actually is it? It's a murder mystery that you have to work
It's like the
out
game
how he's
Murder
died?
Soul
Or?
Suspect probably reckoned it was. So you are a supernatural detective, and Ethan Carter has written to you to come into the town and work out, and rescue him essentially because his family have gone totally fucking upriver and have started killing themselves. And and each other. They've gone mad because of something. And to say any more is
Sure.
a spoiler.
Yeah.
So you get there, you arrive in town, you get your little warning. You arrive in like a train tunnel, and then you come out into a forest where the train track runs through. So obviously, follow the train track. Well, no, actually, please just turn left. Just turn left immediately.
Oh, really?
Otherwise, you miss the entire thing.
Amazing.
So the actual mechanics are: you find one of the family members dead. And this happens for each of them. And you have to work out in the crime scene, you have to find bits of evidence. So one guy the very first guy you find dead, he's had his legs chopped off by like a train, and then he's crawled down a bit of a hill, and then you find the body minus legs with like a big dent in his head and bits of brains. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, he's been run over, he's crawled here, someone's twatted him on the head. So when you collect the rest of the evidence, because it's not generally as straightforward as that, and then you can touch the body of the dead body, and you can see the past. So you're like supernatural shit, and then you see various elements of the crime not in motion, but at various stages. So you'll see maybe two people arguing, then you'll see them over somewhere else. There's generally 4 or 5 of these different chronologies. So then you tag the chronologies and you visualize them. And you have to put them in order, and then you get the next round of things. And that's cool. Like it's not
That actually sounds
really
more
good.
interesting. To be honest, I think as Dave said before, I saw the name, I saw the pretty screenshots, and I thought Dear Esther. I thought it's going to be a game that you walk through and stuff happens, but it sounds like it's got.
It sounds a bit like
the mystery around
Hannibal. Have you seen any of the Hannibal TV series?
Yeah, some of it.
Because the guy, not Hannibal, but like the main
Will Graham.
Will. He walks into a crime scene and then he kind of blinks his eyes a few times, and then he imagines how the crime took place. And
Yeah,
kind of
so it's
sees
like
it
that.
happen through his eyes, and
Yeah.
him as the killer, basically. And he sees what is going to happen. So it sounds a bit like that kind of.
Yeah, it's really cool when you kind of get used to it, but there should be, I believe, just a tiny bit of prodding. Like, so when you find the train with which this guy's legs have been cut off with, it's only a little one. And so you're like, okay. And then you look at the front and it says crank. And
He was killed on the train tracks with the train.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see on the front, you can see there's a crank missing. It's like a hand crank train. And then you click crank and it will show you maybe towards the area of where the crank is, so you can start it and then reverse it and go back through the motions. But really at that point, you don't know that's how the game works. And if you miss that little cutscene, which I did, I clicked on it, it went over, and I don't know, I was distracted by something, or maybe I just let go. Can't see it again. They're like,
Maybe, yeah, I guess even if it was on just the first kind of setup, it gave you some.
just the first one.
pointers, sure.
Yeah. But no, it was really interesting. And again, I can't say very much about the story. I did find the story telegraphed itself about midway through the game. It's only about 3 or 4 hours long. Well, given the amount of walking around I was doing, probably about 15 minutes long. But
yeah, can you, if you know what you're doing, could you finish it instantly?
yeah, I think you can speed run it. People are speed running it in like 44 minutes or something.
Right.
But part of the game's appeal is just walking around, it being in its environment, which is lovely. And the story, it could have been mega pretentious. And it's like got this really eerie, maybe Twin Peaksy, like the sun's always shining, but you're like, shit, something's obviously not right in this town. And but the ending's actually really good. I can't say what it is, but you know, it wraps up really nicely. And at first, I was like, I fucking hate this game. Fuck everyone that loves it. Fuck them into the ground. And then when it had finished, it kind of that all like faded away, and I was like, that was actually
I'm
like
not angry anymore.
It's like a really nice change of pace.
I don't think I like video
an
games.
interesting game. Interesting. And it's only like 14 quid. So, you know, if you're in London, that's like half a beer these days or something, isn't it? So just check it out.
Cool. Yeah, actually, to be honest, I think we're now better equipped than you were going into it. The fact that
Yeah.
we know.
Oh, man, you're going to
that
be...
there's-
Yeah, just turn left.
And the
Turn
fact that we
left.
know that you have to maybe pay attention to those initial pointers because you're not ever going to get them again might be useful to
you
know.
got to start right. If you go into a mine, you get into the mine at one point, and it has little like old style mine maps, and every time because it's massive, you easily get lost because nothing looks distinct. I was like, well, if I'm a detective, I'm going to use all the technology to get a photo on my phone. I was like, take that, the
Yeah.
vanishing leaf guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it didn't help me. But yeah, good game. Check it out.
All right, cool. Tom, do you have anything else to talk about before we move on to questions? I don't ever want to feel like I've rushed over your
Well,
your
not
games.
really. I did.
Shall we move on to some questions that we've been sent in?
No.
Yes.
Go on then.
Is the
Go
correct
on
answer
then.
to that. Barry Hood.
Hello, Barry Hudd.
Mm-hmm.
Please. What a load of... I mean, if your name is Barry Hudd, as in head-up display...
Double D.
Yeah, no, double O.
Oh, Hood.
Hood.
You said Hudd.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I apologise to Barry Hood, for this man can't speak.
That's the one word we think you'd get right.
Barry Hudd.
Shouldn't it be Barry
All you can
Hood?
do is
Barry-
double O...
Do you want a cucky?
Because I kind of want to say Hood, but that's not going to
That's what
please
you should have
anyone.
said. We'd have understood, Bratters.
Fuck's
No, you wouldn't.
sake.
Would have
You
done.
don't understand me.
Carry
It's a bit
on,
better than
Braz.
Hud.
Barry H would like to know:
H. Not H.
Are Ubisoft actively trying to alienate everyone on the planet? Question mark.
No, they're just a gigantic billion-dollar company, and you know it's not like when you talk to your favourite indie. I'm not trying to stick up for them, but they do have about 10,000 people working on any project. You know, and all these statements that come out, like, well, they didn't mean to say that. They did mean to say that. But you know, there's a trillion people you could speak to about the game. They all have their different opinions on something. But yeah, they really should stop. Well, I mean, obviously they shouldn't from the consumer point of view, but from a PR point of view, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all getting, you know, beaten with fucking wet towels at the moment. 'Cause it's not going well, is it?
Yeah.
it's such a... Well, I don't know what to really say about it. It was such a simple question as well.
The quote itself is amazing. I don't mean that in a
for
good
people
way. I
who
mean,
don't know what we're
it's
talking
literally
about,
amazing.
we're talking about the 900p thing.
And
Which,
what was the validation for it? It was
to avoid debates and stuff.
And stuff. Brilliant. It's just such a good quote. I'd give that answer if someone had asked me. That's like something I would have said, not
the thing is, that's such a...
It's got to be very
for
careful.
Ubisoft, not for the consumer, because finally a bit of fucking truth. I mean, I admire the guy for actually saying it. But it's such a standard question that a lot of journalists ask most developers these days. What is the resolution going to be?
And you do say it in that voice because you often expect someone to lean and go, well,
normally they exactly, it was still optimizing, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, come on, you've got a target though, what is it? So for someone to actually say it, but surely they must know, they must be prepared for that question to come along and realise that what they're about to say could upset quite a lot of people.
Stuff, which is brilliant because it's triggered lots of debates.
It's triggered the biggest debate so far, arguably.
How many, like NeoGAF, which is a very big gaming forum, they picked up this obviously, and I think on the day that we posted the news, that thread about the 900p thing had over 500,000 views.
A lot of people tell me that no one cares.
That's crazy.
That's always the stock answer. No one cares about resolution. No one gives a shit. Shut up. Apparently people do.
They fucking do care. And
I think in this one in particular, people have interpreted it as there's something more to it than it. Isn't Ubisoft taking advantage of PS4? Because PS4
that's the main issue here.
That's the issue.
I'm not sure I completely agree with the idea that Microsoft have handed them a brown envelope and just been like, just make the PS4 version the same as ours, please. I don't think that's what happened.
But it's.
But what did happen, I guess, is the next question.
That's the next question.
Yeah, like one of community manager who had formerly worked on Assassin's Creed, now was working on another project. He tweeted saying, "Oh, it's tough to see developers who are obviously working hard, get paraphrasing here, get kind of pulled over the coals for this." And I tweeted him saying, "I don't think that is necessarily the big issue here. The issue is that people who have spent their hard-earned cash on one console feel that what is an inferior console is holding them back, and why should that be the case? They're not invested in that. And obviously, the developer and publisher is. And there are other technical reasons, there's time reasons, and money reasons.
But that's the answer they gave was.
But the way in
which,
stuff. People don't trust anything that developers say, because there's been especially Ubisoft have been in this shit for a little while now with things that they've said, and mainly to us. But it's not like we go in there, Cook Report style, going, now, with a gun to their head, we just ask a question, and that's the answer that they give, and whatever comes there, we just print it.
And that's what I'm saying. And in this instance in particular, it's such a stock question. It's not something complete out of sort of, left field, like, I didn't see that one coming.
Ask me about that.
I mean, I think the and stuff seems, this might sound like I'm defending the guy, but the and stuff seems like it's actually very flippant. It's like, it's whatever, man.
Well, the way he said it was just like to avoid all the debates and stuff.
Yeah, but in conversation, like, when I interview people, and Dave and whoever interviews developers, you don't do it on like, you're not in court. You're generally sitting on a sofa, just kind of asking them questions. I always try and make the guys that I'm speaking to, not feel like I'm interrogating
I
them.
tried to put my arm around them.
Exactly. Sometimes I'll slip them money, on my phone number, or a combination of both usually works, and they just say whatever I want them to say. But no, so and stuff probably was just something that you would say in conversation.
Yeah, when you read it, it's
if you had a transcription of everything we said in here, it would sound like the babbling of just insane people. But we're not talking about something that people are about to put a lot of money into. So I don't think at Ubisoft HQ, they've like the cackling of wolves and the striking of lightning. They're going, fuck the consumer. They're probably they're probably just saying a lot of stupid shit and maybe making some very stupid decisions, like most people and businesses.
We've got a tweet here that reads, "What a clusterfuck, this game."
That's about the Drive Club servers.
Which wasn't a question. It was just a reply to the PS Plus edition.
Just a statement.
crumbling, apparently.
Thanks for including that, Brad.
No problem. Lucy has a question about Alien Isolation. If you could replace the alien with a single person to make the game scarier,
basically said it,
who would it be? Would that be scarier than the
Imagine
alien?
it,
Did you not hear what he did to Mary Berry?
I've heard he's put his tongue in her ear.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what he did. And then his
apologize?
his reasoning at the TV Choice Awards for sidling up to her and sticking his tongue in Mary Berry's ear was, I was off my nut. So,
You know what? Maybe that is actually a bit scary. The fact that you're running away from a man that is quite happy to
You
put.
wouldn't know what it was going to do.
But instead
his
of
tongue.
hissing, it's just going, you fucking what, mate? You fucking what? And then just jumps out and sticks his tongue in your ear.
And we're talking about Alien being a game.
I see you cunt.
We're talking about Alien being a game that's scary when you've got headphones on. Imagine just your left headphone, just you hear the.
All right, son.
Yeah, oh, my life. Hello, Gills. Done.
Yeah, okay, that's a
Fucking A.
a fine
Can
answer.
someone mod that in immediately?
Oscar DUSZ on Twitter asks, are there any games which you enjoy watching more than you enjoy playing? None of you guys are really into the esports stuff, right? And like, you know,
No, I think the answer is...
I'd say, do I enjoy watching Dota 2 more than playing it? I don't know. It's different. It's like asking if you enjoy watching
my
football more than
girlfriend
playing
enjoyed watching me play Uncharted more than she enjoyed playing Uncharted.
it. Really? Yeah, I don't know.
My girlfriend loves GTA because she's obsessed with the way the worlds are built. So she just enjoys.
I imagine watching you play GTA would be quite an amusing time anyway.
When I first got GTA 5, I was like, right,
Would you tone it back 'cause
I'm
your
Michael.
girlfriend's
No,
there?
I was driving around the outside of the map. It's like Miami Vice and shit. Someone's like purple and coming, sunset. Pulled into a truck stop. And then as a guy came past, I shot him with a silenced pistol. No one came to his help. Just walked off, drove off to some like the Strains of the Rock channel or something, or maybe Baker Street. And I was like, this is probably the game of the year.
Right.
But so people that don't play games, you come to expect stuff as a game player or a journalist or whoever for GTA. But like coming at it fresh, essentially, like fuck me. There's like the level of fidelity must be incredible.
And I just, back on the esports side of things, I think with like there are certain games like StarCraft 2 I was never any good at. Like I can just about play Dota, but StarCraft I was always terrible at. Watching people that are really good at that and understanding vaguely what's going on is.
Would you prefer to watch
really
that
good.
than giving it a go yourself?
Yeah, I think with StarCraft in particular, yeah.
Some high level Street Fighter stuff is fucking brilliant as well.
It is.
That's true.
It's brilliant to watch
Yeah.
someone at the very top, like playing it in a completely different way. It's pretty ace.
Fair enough.
And maybe like some horror games as well. Like I guess some people enjoyed watching PT but didn't play it themselves. I guess
PT is probably a
fits as
really
well.
good example.
Yeah.
That's why it was so successful because you could watch it on Twitch essentially.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
was
horror
designed
movie.
around that way, around that idea, really, wasn't it? In many
It's
ways.
fucking great marketing, the great development.
And we'll go for one last question before we go on to the voicemails. We've got one here from Count Bretula who asks, have you ever played a game that you were too embarrassed to play with other people around, and why? This is probably for you, Dave. Go on. Come on. What have you been playing that...
Singles float up your life.
Is that true? Is that actually...
There was a game, actually. I had to turn the sound down quite recently. It's like, that's a bit naughty. What was that? I can't remember. Don't know.
The opening of Final Fantasy X-2, I remember being really worried that my parents were going to walk in and see me.
Fancy what happens?
It's basically...
It's all about the girls in their sexy outfits,
It's kind of like
isn't
a
it?
Britney
It
Spears
doesn't
music
sound-
video.
Yeah, no, but that's not exactly scandalous. Is
No,
it?
but I was a bit younger than that, and I wanted people to think that was cool and play cool video games about men being shot in the head by other men. And instead, I was watching a music video starring some Final Fantasy characters.
So it's, the only game I can think of really is Killer 7, because there are bits in it that are so. Like, if you just walked in and saw some of the stuff that was happening, you'd think,
Out of context as well.
am
it's the
I a
context.
bit weird for playing this game?
D4. If someone walked in and watched us like waving our hands around whilst that,
Yeah, but you'd explain
Catwoman.
that. It was
Yeah.
not like sort of,
but not if they're not familiar with
Dave,
games.
why are you playing Playboy the Mansion? Well, Mum, because
Listen,
because I am.
I've got to review it for work. God.
wasn't
I played
wasn't
the-
reviewing that one for work.
The Leisure
Why did you
Suit
say
Larry
it like
game. Dave, you must own it. Which was the one on the original Xbox? Leisure Suit Larry game. Which one was it?
Magna.
Oh, that was the one. My friend or my housemate at uni, he had like an Executor Xbox, so you could switch it to chipped and retail games, and he must have had about 50 million like pirate games of every stripe and DVDs. So much so that our house got robbed once while I was away at uni, and he had to delay calling the police while he cleared out his room because he just had so much shit in there. And I came in one day into the front room and he was playing that Leisure Suit Larry game, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I knew what it was, but he was like, I don't know, man, I just get all these games, I just have a little look. And he didn't look embarrassed, but maybe he just was, hiding it. He did go on to play it for another hour. We were laughing hysterically. But yeah, if there was a game where your mum was to come in, isn't there like a mini game with like fucking sperm or some shit in that fucker? I mean, I know you've played it, Dave. Don't try and tell me you haven't.
Dave
did I ever,
reminds me so much of Leisure Suit Larry.
I bought Leisure Suit Larry box office
really hard to
bust,
say
the
Leisure Suit
Xbox
Larry.
360 one. It is terrible. But I bought it from an online retailer. I can't remember which one. They sent me the European version.
Oh, yeah?
Which meant I couldn't trade it in. I played for about an hour, like, oh no, this is crap. Couldn't get rid of it. Yeah, but I'd opened it, I played it.
You still opened it.
I'd only paid about £5 for it, I think. But I had to hide that box.
Is that gone in the drawer?
Not having, the drawer, yeah. Not having that hanging around.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Actually, I want to point out now that I'd be quite happy to watch the opening of Final Fantasy X-2 now. I was a different man back then.
Should we live stream?
I'd be more embarrassed just because they're shit. Like, to go back...
Final Fantasy X-2 is a great game.
And just be watching, like...
Once you get past that.
When you were younger, you probably thought that some of the, that it was the pinnacle. But
yeah, that's
people are going to go back, and that opening of Bioshock Infinite is so fucking bad. Like, even a guy I know, his girlfriend was watching him play the review code, and she went, what the fuck is this? When you go up there, you see the racist kind of whatever show where you're trying to throw the baseball, and then you just plunge like a big thing into a man's face. There's no reason given nor asked. You just do it, and you go video games. Then you kill about 5,000 more people, and then in the end you go, well, good.
Can we do a live playthrough of Box Office Bust?
Nope.
Why?
Yeah, Dave will do it. Don't worry.
If you say we, I mean...
The royal we.
As long as, like... Yeah. None
People at home, if you want to watch us play through...
once again, we... That would
As
be
long as
you.
we can see your hands at all time, Dave.
Me and Burns will do it. Why would there be a lawsuit?
It's you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't make that game.
Maybe you could, if you did it in your own time with no connection to VideoGamer, it'd probably be
terrible
safer.
Game. It's a terrible game. I don't know how games like that exist these days. But
because people like you, Dave. Because
I did buy it. I did buy it. I don't know why I bought it, but I did.
Moving on.
I do know why I bought it.
To some voicemails that we've received. Are you guys ready? We've got 4 today because we didn't play any last week, and I've cherry picked some good ones.
Go.
You ready? Right, we'll go. Should we go with the cabbie first? The cabbie's back.
Can we do it this week?
We can do it.
Let's do it.
Oh, hello, boys. Hello, it's Bill the cab driver.
Phil or Bill?
Here. How's it going? You all right?
Phil.
I've got a bit of news for you. I had a bloke in the back of my cab, didn't recognise him. His name was David Rutter. David Rutter, he said his name was. Works on that FIFA game, football, the sport and that, Oh, come on, you fuck. Anyway, he says to me, I've been working on that FIFA 15's just come out, but he said, don't bother with that one, we're getting a new one out next year. It's a fucking new one, robbing bastards. They get your money for this year, they're going to bring out another one. So FIFA 16's out next year. If I were you, I'd save the fucking money, do you know what I mean?
That is
There we are.
a worthy scoop.
Jesus, there's
I'm
going to be
impressed.
a new FIFA game next year. David, you better get this written up.
I'm going to go right now.
It's
Classic Rutter, though, isn't it? Classic Rutter. Always leaking the big ones.
Yeah. Who's up next, Braz?
This one's for you, actually, Burns. So
Is it my friend Christopher Viggers?
it's not. No, it's someone.
How do you know?
Well, he doesn't say that he's your friend. Is your friend Christopher Viggers from Birmingham?
Good. Let's see what these scumbags have to say.
Hello. I'm a fan of VideoGamerTV. My name's Andy, by the way. And, on at least 2 of your podcasts now, you have berated and insulted my home of Birmingham, where I study as a student. And I don't think you're being very fair. So, possibly, say something nice about Birmingham.
There we are.
I went to Birmingham once on a press trip.
Yep. Is this something nice?
And this sums it up quite well.
Mm-hmm.
When I got there, The whole station had to be evacuated because of a fire.
I know something nice about Birmingham. Last time I was there, it was, I think, the EU MP elections, and there was an advertisement for UKIP. It was one of those shitty ones about immigrants coming in, stealing all our goddamn jobs, and someone had scribbled all over it, and I was like, yes, good job, Birmingham.
Bratters, you come from Stoke,
Mm-hmm.
so everywhere else
That
is going to feel like a big step up, isn't
That's
it?
insulting.
Braz, let me tell you, like Birmingham, I've been through Birmingham a lot.
Yep.
Like, I've been to Birmingham. Like my ex-girlfriend used to go to university in Warwick. So like I've been to Birmingham. Like I'm not one of those guys who's going to say so. I hate somewhere where I've not been. Like Stoke,
like Tom just has with.
but
with Stoke
like
and Trent.
Birmingham can get fucked into the sea. All right. Every time I went into Birmingham, it started raining. When I was a kid, I used to have to go to. Well, not used to. I wasn't forced to do it, but we'd go to Alton Towers, and Alton Towers.
Oh no!
Alton Towers is near there, right? You have to drive through
boo.
Birmingham, through the fucking JCB factory, like head office or whatever, and it was raining all the time, and they have stupid accents. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous place.
Jeez. Wow, I think that's quite what they were after there. But,
I don't really have strong opinions either way.
There we are.
They're not the worst.
Don't.
Braz, have you turned me off?
No, I've just I've put the phones down like that.
Oh, okay.
Just because we were getting a little bit loud.
Look, all I'm saying is Birmingham, every experience I've had there, every single one has been fucking terrible.
Did you think I'd muted you because you started going
An
off?
anti-Birmingham rant.
Possibly. I should have done that. We've got one from...
Hello, it's Minty Rebel here with a with a cough. If VideoGamer made a game, what members of staff would design and develop which aspects, and who would be in charge of the total project?
Is this the question that gets sent to us every week? And every week you go, fuck, he's asked that fucking question again. And I'm not going to ask it on the podcast because it's a terrible question. Is that the question that this keeps happening with? And now he's resorted to phoning us.
But I like Minty Rebel a lot. He's our...
I love Minty
he's our
Rebel.
mod on Twitch, and he does a fantastic job.
He is
Very
a
active on the
wonderful video
forums.
game fan.
Why don't we just answer the question, and then the question need not be asked again?
All right.
Tom would be like creative overseer. I'll name no names, but guys that I've worked for who just sit around doing nothing, with cowboy boots on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, but they do the initial pitch, and then they're like, maybe like Kojima, they're like, do this. They don't actually do it themselves; they just do it. Dave, you do all the new build stuff, all the new testing, new style, new stuff getting implemented.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Bratters would like get the
Yeah? What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And I look after, stuff like mission design and, amount of outrageous shit.
Yeah, Brad, you're just the runner. You're the right, desperate to break into the industry, need a bit of experience.
This is utterly outrageous.
Brett would be in QA, yeah, whereas his work would be extremely valuable, but no one would give a fuck about
Just so
it.
you know, I'd be pissing in all your teas, just so we're clear. Like that.
You'd be fired then.
Yeah, but you wouldn't notice. It would only be a little bit of piss. But I'd know, and that would be important.
But what was the actual question? What game would we make?
No, I think it was just...
We'd make time slags. We are making time slags.
Yeah.
Time slags?
And we've also got Tom Ori's, the Ori Burns super secret game, which can never, ever
What
be
happened to
allowed.
our game?
Which was our game?
The dungeon game.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
That's the one.
That's
But
why-
we actually, I don't think legally we're allowed to talk about it, like ever.
Also, and then
it could go tonally. It could go very wrong.
Yeah.
There's Payday the Heist as well, which will be like a heist game centered around payday loan companies.
Yeah.
We've got loads of ideas.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, but right now, in terms of the chain and the release slates, time slags.
I mean, the team's only concentrating on time slags now. That's all their efforts are going
Time
there.
slags.
Actually, Braz, we've also got, because we consulted with Creative Assembly about a new patch for...
we'll be talking about it tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
for Alien Isolation, in regard to some of the scores that it's got abroad.
Yep.
So we've been to America a lot, and we've consulted with them now, and there's a new patch rolling out tomorrow morning.
I think people are going to be really excited about it.
The world first exclusive, as we made it. We really shouldn't be commenting on it, because we did make it, but, fuck it.
It's fine.
So, yeah, tomorrow morning, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So,
Wait, do I need to write this for news?
Yes, you do. You
Yeah.
definitely do.
Get it ready. We're saying tomorrow morning. This is Bratter's time. So
Yeah, Brat's meantime, BMT.
Oh, Bratters is rolling the patch out himself.
expect
Yeah,
it
well, we've got footage of
at
it,
some point.
so yeah, we'll be the first.
You got something out there, Dave?
Right.
Yeah.
I might need a comment from both of you.
Okay, yes, fine.
If you could just give me it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
I would say superb.
All right.
Ellipsis, great.
Excellent.
Nice. Okay, cool. And the final voicemail, which I think is going to be very appropriate considering the conversation we've just had. Brett Claxton's back.
Yeah. What's going on, Video Gamer? It's your boy Brett Claxton, a.k.a. B-Clax. You know what I'm saying? Defender of the underdog, champion of the little man and shit. Now listen, I've been off the grid for a little while here, you know what I mean? Getting about, making some movements, doing some deals. You know what I'm saying? Like wearing glasses, living in Manchester, getting up to that Brett Claxton shit. You know what I'm saying? But I've just come back onto the grid today, and I've been catching up with some podcasts and that, and like I felt motivated to just call in and make a heartfelt plea, and I like to make it through the medium of rap music, because that's how I does it, innit? That's that old Brett Claxton style, right there. So I like to make a little heartfelt plea right now through a song called "Leave Bratters Alone." It goes a little something like this.
What a fucking stitch up.
Leave Bratters alone. That dude's alright. Why you gotta diss Chris Bratters every night? Leave Bratters alone. That dude's okay. Even though he speaks in a peculiar way.
What?
Yeah, he talks dumb and his
What?
haircut's stupid.
This isn't-
But that don't mean that you gotta act so abusive. Leave him alone,
Stupid and
man.
abusive.
We was all young
Brilliant.
once. Video Gamer. Why you acting like some Now
Nice.
listen, let's squash the beef. Let's spread the love, yeah? Alright, Brett Claxton, out!
I hear you, Brett. I hear you. We're going to squash the beef. We're going to spread the love.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Video
Although
game
I'm not
intro.
entirely sure I agree with the message, I did enjoy the rap.
Yeah, and abusive and stupid. Interesting rhyming combo there. But
Didn't the Bloodhound Gang once famously rhyme Sabrina with vagina?
there we are.
So I don't
whatever
think it's
you
beyond
want.
the realms of possibility for those two things, Bratters.
That was an excellent rap, and I loved it.
If you would like to call into our voicemail, Dave's going to ring out, call out, talk out, speak out. He's going to say the number.
02 034 754 736 02 034 754 736.
That's good. I thought you were going to go into a third one then. I was about to cut you off. That was good. Well, there you are.
Did you know? Is that a tune you just came up with?
Yeah.
That's quite good.
Yeah, I reckon
Thanks very
that's
much.
the jingle
Quite pleased you
sorted.
did it the
Need a
same
bit of
way
work.
twice as well.
We'll maybe polish that up at some time and do a proper jingle with that exact tune. So hold on to that.
All right, we've got it.
All right, if you'd like to enter our podcast competition this month, you can find it on the forums. And
Don't be
the theme
shit.
of this competition, other than don't be shit, is it is a busy month. We talked about this already. This first week has been crazy in the video game industry, and we're worried that some games are going to maybe slip under the radar. And one month we've seen, in particular, that we're excited about is Power Rangers Super Mega Force for the Nintendo 3DS, and we're worried it's not really getting the kind of the hype that it perhaps deserves.
Is this? I get it now. This is why you linked me that GIF of me.
Yeah, there's a even if you don't enter the competition, I'd suggest going and have a look at the thread because there's a wonderful GIF involving David Scammell that you should all check out. And yeah, we'd like you to come up with some kind of aggressive marketing campaign for this undervalued addition to the Power Rangers series, and make sure it doesn't get ignored.
You come up with this all by yourself, haven't you, Bratters?
I certainly did,
You haven't run this by anyone.
but I may have,
Why are you trying to promote Power Rangers, whatever it's called?
because no one's talking about this game. And have you looked
There's a
at,
reason for that,
have you
Braz.
looked at the
This
Metacritic
is not the
scores of
mid-90s.
the past Power Rangers games?
Power Rangers still a thing.
They're not very high.
No one
wrong
gives a
with you?
fuck about Power Rangers anymore, Braz.
But they will after this podcast competition, in which someone comes
Imagine,
up with a
Braz,
genius marketing
Bratters,
campaign.
If you thought this through, what if Power Rangers now sells really well?
Well,
Directly because
then we'll get a slice of that.
Can we get Power?
have promoted it in a corrupt manner.
Can we get this Power Rangers game Christmas #1?
It's not corrupt.
Can we do that?
Sounds corrupt.
Don't Bandai make...
It's like Yogg's Discovery,
Power
but
Rangers.
where actually the marketing is done by people that listen to the podcast.
Christmas
instead of
#1.
us.
Christmas #1. Let's do it.
Fine.
And we'll all put bets on it.
And we'll fucking cash in.
We'll get Elton John to do the piano work.
Oh, man, that's sorted.
Candle in the wind.
Yeah.
How's that linked to Power Rangers? We're going to have to discuss this in more
Elton John
detail.
on the piano, innit? You can
It's fine.
pay attention.
Yeah, so...
Look, I've got to go.
Yeah, Can we?
So-
I got to get a Boots Christmas sandwich. Come on.
I was trying
Braz,
to.
it's 1:05.
Jesus Christ. Why are you all like this?
I need sugar.
Squash the beef, spread the love. Thank you for listening to the Video Game UK
Goodbye.
podcast.
Thank you all.
Thank you to Steve, who's already left the microphone. you want to say goodbye, Steve?
Get fucked, mate.
David Scammell.
I think you're a prick, mate. So everyone at home's lovely, but you're not.
And my man Tom Orry.
All right, bye, bros.
Goodbye.